Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number... I am sorry about this. I had to look at my phone for the episode number because my Wi-Fi is not working. Episode 247. We're discussing episodes 17 to 22. Yes, of Fiveman. Yes, roughly 6 episodes. And I'd say probably tomorrow I'll probably finish this up because I only got two more left to go. 17 to 18 are not that good of an episodes. These are pretty bad. It's like, okay, so the first one is like, oh, Five Black is finding some romance. And it turns out it's actually one of the villains who is posing as a woman who is using their mother's first name. I mean, it's good potential romance. But no, the episode was just... I thought the episode was boring. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And then you had the very next episode where it's all about, oh, let's have this kid. Like, okay, somebody for time. Okay, here's the thing. He's like maybe, I don't know, 8 years old. And he's getting paid to do other people's homework. And when he gets a small money, he thinks he's rich. Like, really? I mean, this episode reminds me of an episode from Ultra Q. But at least this character didn't turn into something. A pig. Now, come on. Nope, a pig. Because the monster of the episode is a pig monster who basically eats up money. He even cleaned out basically the merchant of the Galactic Army Zone. Yeah, I was not a fan of these 2 episodes. I thought they were pretty bad. Like, after having 4 strong episodes, we have to go to 2 really bad episodes. But then right after this, we have a really good 2-parter. Well, we have the debut of what would be the second mecha, or basically second Megazord, for the Fiveman, the Star Robo. Yep. So we see a return of the pig character from episode 9, who returns here. I think he returns one more time after this. I think so, yes. So he's beaten up by Star Robo, who talks. And like, oh, I know someone stronger than you. He was like, who? Five Robo. Where? Earth. And he leaves him. Never to be seen again. And you see him fly into Earth in the robot mode, despite the fact this thing actually is revealed at the end of the first episode. It actually has a vehicle mode. Yes, called the Star Cruiser. And then, of course, you have the 2 robots fighting each other in a debut episode. Which, okay, that is different. Yes, normally when they have a second robot show up, like, they did this also in Masked Man briefly, where they actually had the 2 robots briefly fight each other when the main one was captured, and then they had to fight each other briefly to get the one back. The only other time I can think this has ever happened, I can think of, did it happen Live Man? No. Did it happen Turbo Ranger? No. Turbo Ranger only had technically 1 Megazord, and they're basically turned into a brief Megazord, but that's it. Now, you've been thinking, okay, what about, let's say, Flashman? No. Flashman, nope. The next time we see this happen, when we have the 2 robots fight each other after this one, will not be until Car Ranger. Well, technically, no. This would happen also in Zoo Ranger, but it was a Zord. And it's, we had not like 2 full-fledged Megazords fighting each other. Yeah, basically, we won't be into that one. And this also happened, I believe, in Gingaman, if I'm not mistaken. Now, did this happen in Go-Go 5? No. Did it happen in, let's say, Time Ranger? Heck no. What about Wild Force? Gal Ranger? I think it did. Okay, but what about, let's say, Samurai? Nope. Never happened because they did several of also Megazords in that one. Never had them fight each other at all. Gekko Ranger? Nope. Gokaiger? They only had 1 Megazord. The whole entire series, just 1. Yes, and the one thing the Heisei series tends to push for some reason, half the time the team doesn't have mentors. Like, for example, Fiveman doesn't have one. Turbo Ranger did. Zoo Ranger did. So did, well, you could say, well, definitely Die Ranger. What about Cock Ranger? I watched a little bit of it. They don't have Mentor in that one. Not really. They did have it in O Ranger, Car Ranger, Mega Ranger, Ginga Man. Basically all the way up until Gal Ranger, all mentors. And when I saw briefly for Hurricane Ranger, yes, they did. But what about, let's say, Geki? Yes. Samurai? Kind of, yes, they do, but it's more a retainer for that one. But you might be thinking, what, was this the first one I've watched where they have no mentor the entire season? Well, if you think about it, no. This is actually the second one that did this. Overall. Yeah. So, and then they reveal who the pilot is. It's some rogue galactic warrior who's commanding it, which later he claims he made the damn thing. But then it's later revealed, nope, he did not make it at all. He stole it from the Fiveman parents. Why did he steal it? I don't know. And they briefly capture him, and of course briefly work together. And you mostly have five red basically working the whole two-parter. It's a really good two-parter. He does kind of sacrifice himself at the end of the thing, but from what I read, he actually does come back after this. He turned to stone, but hey, at least the five they got a brand new Megazord out of this. The very next episode they actually use it, and then they go back to 5 robots for the next episode. You might think, okay, what about, let's say, ooh, good, my Wi-Fi's back on. But what about, let's say, last couple episodes? Well, these ones in particular are quite interesting. First one is a really good one. It is mostly, in the case of 21, it is mostly a Five Blue episode. I believe this was his second, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it was the second or third he's had. Because you have these three boys in elementary school, when they had trouble vaulting. Now, the vaulting thing is something I think associated with Japanese schools. They have to do this thing. And these three are scared. They don't know how to do it. And of course, they suck at it. So, they contact these sibling teachers for this. Yep, they do. Yeah, they contact the sibling teachers for help. And, well, Ken, who apparently is a PE teacher, volunteers to teach him. Yeah, he teaches them, volunteers all right. And he does help him. And it's a good episode. I at least got to handle this. So it definitely felt like a much better episode. Like we had this really good two-parter. So I guess they probably figured, though, that, hey, let's not have a bad episode right after we just had two really good ones. And this, I think, was a good one. The kids actually play a small part in the Rangers' victory. Ken spent the whole episode unmorphed because he said, "Oh, real problems." Of course, they do find out that he's actually Five Blue, which I thought was a really fun revelation. A similar thing happened in yeah, we have a similar thing happen during the events of so basically, like, I really kind of enjoyed that one. Next one definitely felt like a bit of a character piece for, I think this was for her. I think this was her second or third one. But I at least got handed the fact that, well, I at least got handed this little factoid about this particular episode that at least is better than episode 18, which that episode was awful. I hated it. I thought the episode was pretty bad. I mean, so far, for 22 episodes, the occasional okay episodes, but my gosh, 17 18 were pretty bad. If I think probably the worst episode is probably 18. Yeah, that's probably by far the worst episode of the whole thing so far, but I haven't got to the ending yet. That'll happen, feature won't happen right now. But in the case of basically, what about in the case this one, in the case of 22? Well, they fight someone who's a galactic swordswoman named Killer Queen, who Billion does know this person. Oh, by the way, in this second episode of the world, they bring in an outside. This is the second time they bring an outsider into their base, where in the case of Gunner, that's actually his name. Like he's like, who's that? That's Empress Galactus. Oh, that's her. Wow. And of course, Mao was basically impressed by him. The fact though the labor kind of be an idiot because he kind of is one. This one, well, she does work with them, but doesn't work for them per se. And this episode also had it where they had their first fight, and she kind of beats them, but doesn't kill them. Because Five Pink basically loses her morpher. She ends up basically at this... The episode, it's called The Shining Handsome Man. Handsome Youth. That's the name of the episode. It's mostly about a scientist who's trying to restore Earth nature. I'm like, okay, that's actually quite interesting. I actually like that plot thread. And she kind of falls for him. This felt a lot better of a romance type of storyline than it was with episode 17. That was awful. Where it felt very forced. The fact that, they're trying to break up the team. In the case of this one, no, not the case. Where he seems very genuine, and he kind of in a way sees her siblings, but for some reason does not stay long enough to talk to him after the fight is over. And by the way, during the fight they bring in the golem, like, no, I don't want to be used by it. I don't want to be helped, and she gets absorbed by the damn thing. She has no choice in the matter. And then she's killed by the Fiveman. Then she goes to see him right after this episode wraps. Like, they could have been in the end. Like, maybe they're gonna start a potential storyline with this guy. He maybe work with them. Nope. He flies out of the country, never to be seen again in the series, potentially. But I thought that episode was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. And I have 2 more to go before I stop. So, yeah, that's particular review. I have a stream to do, so that's if my Wi-Fi starts working or not, but that just depends, okay? Next view. Bye.